Um, Hello, welcome to my first video for Dragonball Super. Hopefully I can do this in one take. Today I'm doing a video for a starter deck mod. So you can just go ahead and pick up a starter deck that has this awesome leader. And you can make a few changes and you'll be ready to go. The deck out the box is pretty playable, but it's missing some key pieces that will make the deck really shine. So I'm gonna try to help point you in the right direction if you're a new player, or if you want to, try a new deck. But you've probably already played this deck before if you've been playing for a while. So first thing I want to do is look at the the deck concept for the starter deck. It makes the most of the keyword evolve. So you end up paying a lower cost and evolving by playing a card on top of the specified card. So this deck uses this Goku to search out other Gokus that it can evolve into, so you can play them for less and get effects when you evolve. So I'll be sticking with this theme for the starter deck mod, just so since you're familiar with it from the starter deck, it'll stick to the same evolve, except I'm going to try to make the deck a little stronger, a little more competitive. I wanted to keep this budget, but unfortunately for blue, a lot of the commons and uncommons can be a bit pricey. So this won't be a budget deck, but it is a card game, so you're gonna have to spend some kind of money. But you won't break the bank if you're trying to build this deck, really. So, well, let's get started. I'm gonna go over all the cards and say if I'm keeping it or not, pretty much. So starting off with, let's start with the leader. The front side. When it attacks, you can choose one of your blue energy and switch it to active mode. That's pretty good. You can let you play, more cards than you usually be able to, or you can use all your energy to play a card and attack with your leader and still have energy open to defend yourself on next turn. Of course, when you awaken, you get to draw 2 cards. And on this side, during your turn, if you have 5 more energy, this gains 5,000 power. So we're going to be including cards that let us ramp up our energy quicker, so we can get that 5 energy for that 5,000 power, which is awesome. And when it attacks, you can draw a card and choose two of your blue energies this time and switch them to active mode. This is even better than the other side, obviously, since you're awoken, but it's just so much more potential when you're untapping 2 energy instead of 1. Alright, so now I'm going to go over the deck. Kansan Son Goku is going to be like your bread and butter. You're going to want to play this card whenever you can. Look at the top 7 in your deck, choose a blue Son Goku among them, and add it to your hand. As simple as that. So you're going to leave these guys out and you're going to want to evolve into them. So we're going to include 4 in the deck. Next is Rapid Spirit Ball Son Goku. It costs 3. It can evolve for 1 in a blue. And when you play the card, you can choose one of your energy and switch it to active mode. This is really good. You're pretty much playing, a vanilla, just like this. 2 for 15. So you pay 3 and you choose one of your energy and switch it to active, so it pretty much only costs 2. Or if you evolve, then it pretty much only costs 1, which is really good. I like this card a lot, and if you attack with your leader, then you can essentially play this card for free. So I'm going to leave the 2 copies in here because this card is awesome. Next up, Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku Maximum Energy. It can evolve for 4, and it has double strike, and when a card evolves into this card, it gains dual attack, meaning it can attack twice. So that's like 4 damage you're doing pretty much, if they don't block either of these hits. I was going to take this card out, but I'm going to leave it in because there's a pretty cool combo you can pull off of this. Also, it's a nice threat. Like, they have to, if they're at 4 life, they have to block this or they're going to lose. So that's a good way to apply pressure to them. So I'm just going to leave these 2 in. Just 2, because if you don't evolve into it, then you don't get the effect, and 20,000 double strike that does nothing else for 5 is really bad, so I'm just only going to leave 2 copies in here. Next is 4 copies of God Rush Son Goku. It evolves for 5. It costs 6 and evolves for 5. And it's double strike, and when you play it, return all of your opponent's blockers to their hand. This card isn't very good. I think they give you 4 because you're probably going to put most of them in energy. It's not like a terrible card, but returning blockers to their hand is a pretty weak effect. And there's a better card that can end the game than this, so these will be the first to go. So we're gonna just take these and get rid of them. We don't need those anymore. Next up is our Bulma and Whis line. Bulma costs 1, and when you play, you can search your deck for a Whis with an energy cost of 4 or lower and add to your hand. So mainly you'll be searching for this Whis here, which when you play him, you add 1 card to your energy from the top of your deck. Just really good. So if you play this on turn 4, then you'll get your 5th energy, which means that your leader will have 2,000 power in your turn. This combo is great to get your energy up high, which you need for this deck. But you only really need to play 1 Whis a game. So I'm going to take 1 Whis out to have 4 Bulma and 3 Whis. Bulma, you only really need to play it or search for 1, but if you end up playing 2, you can just put the other one in energy. Bulma is also a 5,000 power combo, which is nice to have for this deck. So I don't feel bad including 4. Next up, we've got Assailant Vegeta, 15,000 power and costs 3, and he's got critical. This card's really good, but I'm going to replace it, and you'll see why I'm going to replace it. Fret not. This card is good, but you'll see why I replace it in a sec. Next up is Vegeta Prince of Speed. He could evolve from the Vegeta, but we just took him out. He's got double strike, and when you play this, if you have 5 or more energy, which you will, because it costs 5, draw 2 cards. This is a pretty good card. It just helps you, play a threat to the board, and you get more cards to defend yourself or attack with it. So this is an easy include. I'm gonna keep those. Next up is Mighty Striker Son Gohan. This is pretty much a vanilla. It costs 4, 25,000 power, double strike, and doesn't do anything else. I thought about keeping this over the Evolved Goku, because this is a pretty good card. It costs 4, and it's got double strike for 25. And you can play this out for 4 and then attack with your leader, so it only costs 2. But I need to take this out for room for other cards. Unfortunately, you can keep it in if you want, but I'm taking this one out. Energy Boost Beerus, costs 4. It's got double strike, and when you play it, if you have 5 or more energy, you can KO on your opponent's battle cards. This is a form of removal that your deck is going to need to handle bigger threats that your opponent plays. So this is an easy include as well. These are going to be staying here. Next up, there's this blocker package. Guardian North Kai and Taunting Piccolo. All they do is block. I see why they are included in the starter deck. It makes sense since you can, like pay 5 energy for this Vegeta here, and then attack with your leader, and untap 2, and then you can play a blocker down next turn. Unfortunately, this isn't too strong of a strategy for me to keep it, so I'm going to remove the blockers, and I'll be including more night negates and stuff to make up for it. So I'm going to take these out. Next, they have these vanillas. I'm pretty sure why does he have a diamond in his hand? I don't know. Anyway, I'm pretty sure they included these in the starter deck just because, it's a starter deck and they're vanillas. Vanillas in this game are not bad like they might be in other card games, because these cost 2 and they have 15,000 power, which means if they're attacking, your opponent is going to have to lose a card to not get hit by them. And they only cost 2. The problem is there's no way to search for these vanillas, and you don't benefit from having these named cards in your deck, so there's no reason to include them in this deck. But there are decks that you do use vanillas in this game. So next is Whis Coercion. Yes. It costs 1, and it negates an attack, and you can choose one of your energy and switch it to active mode. So it's pretty much negates an attack for free if you have an energy open. We'll definitely be including all 4 of these. It's the best negate in the game, hands down. So we're including 4, and it already comes in the starter deck, which is awesome. And encouraging presence Monaka. During your main phase, you give your leader double strike and draw a card. So it replaces itself, so you're not losing a card for playing it. And when you attack with your leader, you turn 2 of your blue energy to active, so it's essentially free. However, we need room for other cards, so we're going to be taking this one out, unfortunately. Okay, so we're left with about 23 cards. Cool, so we have 27 cards in our side deck here that we are going to be adding. Okay, so, alright, now editing the deck, first thing you're going to want to do is put in 4 boost attack Piccolo. You're going to do this for any deck. When you combo with this card, if your leader is blue and your life is 4 or less, draw a card, and this card gains 10,000 to its combo for the duration of the turn. So as you can see, like here, this one costs, you have to pay 1 to combo with this, and it gets 10,000 power. This one you pay 0 and it has 10,000, as long as you're at 4 or less though, and you get to draw a card, so it replaces itself. Now, like I said, if you're building any deck, you're gonna need these cards. There's one for every color as well. So I'm gonna toss boost attack Piccolo here. Next, 4 energy boosted Majin Buu. It's a 1-drop that lets you draw a card and you play it. It's a really good card, especially in these mono blue decks, just to help you, draw through your deck to find what you need quicker. Also, it's possible to play, multiple of these the very first turn of the game because of your leader changing your energy to active mode. So something you might want to do is play a Balmona, fetch a Whis from your deck, and then attack with your leader to change your energy to active, and then you can play a Majin Buu and draw another card. So it's just plays like that make your deck really strong. Next up, Mighty Attack Son Goku. I took the Vegeta out for these. It's just the exact same thing as the Vegeta, except it's Goku. So your Kind Saiyan can fetch it out. Critical is really good because it allows you to attack your opponent, and if it lands, the cards go to their drop area instead of their hand, so they're not getting stronger from you beating up on them, which is really powerful. Because when you beat your opponent up, they get more cards, they get closer to awakening. But with critical, they don't gain any more cards and just get closer to losing. So for another Goku, we're gonna add 2 Overflowing Spirit Goku. This one also has critical, and if you have 5 or more energy during your turn, it gains 10,000 power. 25,000 critical is pretty good. They're either going to be losing a life and not getting the card, or they're going to have to use 1 to 2, probably 2 to 3 cards to block it. So a card like this puts your opponent in an awkward spot, which is good. So you want cards like this. Last up is 2 God Break Son Goku. This is an ideal finisher in my opinion. It's cheap, so you can get 2 of these pretty easy without hurting your wallet. It can evolve into Goku for 6, although it costs 7. It has double strike, and your opponent can't activate counters like Whis' Coercion, or they can't block with stuff like Piccolo and North Kai when you attack with this. So if your opponent's at 2 life and you swing at this, they have to block it, or they're gonna lose. They're not gonna be able to counter it. A lot of decks will sit at 2 life and just counter and block everything you send at them, but not with this. If they want to teeter on the edge, then you take them there. You gotta see what they got in their hand. It's also got 30,000 power, so it's unlikely, if they have, just 1 energy open for that negate, it's unlikely they're gonna be able to stop this when you're going for game. And it's a Goku, so your Kind Saiyan can fetch it out to you. Alright, so for some extra cards, we're going to add 4 Senzu Bean. This is one of the best blue cards in the game. Um, During a battle, you choose one of your cards and it gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. Duration of the turn is really relevant because there's a card in the deck that has dual attack. So it'll be able to swing for 5,000 more during its second attack. Then choose 2 of your energy and switch them to active mode. That's also another goodie because that lets you block more or deal more damage, or have mana open for your, Weeze's Coercion or whatever. Also synergizes with your leader because this does the same thing. When you're building a deck, if there's a card that does the same thing as your leader, you normally want to include it because it's just like a backup strategy, so it would make sense for that. So for Senzu Bean, unfortunately this card is a little pricey. It's about I'm not gonna say how much it is because prices change, but as of right now, this is one of the reasons why this isn't a budget deck. Another reason is Objection, which I'm including 3 of. This lets you take a card from your hand and add it to your energy. This along with the Whis, help you get your energy up quick. To activate this during your turn, if you have 5 more energy, this gains 5,000 power. So playing this on turn 2 is really good. You lose a card from your hand for playing it, but you get to play your big stuff like your Vegeta and your Goku earlier than your opponent, which helps you win. Also, there's a neat trick where you can play 2 Objection on the second turn. You play the Objection and place a card from your hand into your energy, and then attack with your leader to activate one of the blue energy, and then you'd have 2 open to play another Objection. So it's kind of sick. If you get 2 Objection in your opening hand, then that's always a play you can make. And then you have stuff like Prince of Speed and Majin Buu to give you more cards for later. Alright, next, for last of the extra cards, 2 result of training. During your turn, you can activate your leader card's Awaken, even if you have 5 or more life. Then choose up to 2 of your energy and switch them to 4 of your energy and switch them to active mode. So this card essentially only costs you 1 energy to play, but you gotta have 5. This card's good because when you play, you'll notice sometimes your opponent might try to not attack you so you can't awaken. A lot of decks do that. They try to starve you of cards because when you're not awoken, you don't draw every time you attack. You have less power, which means you won't be able to take out 1,500 base cards with your leader, and you have a weaker effect. So people might try to leave you at a certain life so you can't awaken. However, resort of training, you can ignore all of that strategy, and the more life you have, the more danger they're going to be in, because you're going to be stronger and have so much more life when you're awoken. If you notice your opponent's rushing you down and you get into 4 life, quicker than you expected, then you can just toss this card in energy. But it's definitely worth including in your deck to make sure they can't stall you out. Also, this card is pretty much free because you'll be activating 4 of your energy, and then when you attack, you'll activate 2 more. So yeah, this card essentially will cost you nothing, which won't set you back. Which is it's kind of what blue does. They don't get set back when they play the cards because they can activate so much of their energy. Lastly, I'm going to add 2 more energy boost beers. Just for more removal. Later in the game, your opponent might be dropping big stuff you can't really, attack to get rid of. So you can drop a Beerus and KO it if you have 5 more energy, which you will. And then, with the Beerus, costs 4, you attack with your leader. It essentially only costs you 2 energy to get rid of anything, and you have a 20,000 double strike, which is nice. So rounding this deck up, this looks pretty solid. Of course you can make the deck even better, but this is a good starting point to mod the starter deck to mono blue. if you want this deck to be budget, like budget, you can take out the objection and the Senzu Bean and replace them with either more battle cards, like more Goku, or you can replace them with like the the Monica that I took out. Pretty much just replace them with like anything, because these are the most expensive cards right now. Everything else, the Piccolo and the Majin Buu, they're not like cheap, but they're not expensive. These can be though. Your deck will be so much stronger with them, but if you can't pick them up, just replace them with anything, and you can still have fun playing. Here's a cute little combo that I noticed when I was putting this together. You can use this. You can evolve into this Goku for 4, and it has dual attack. So you use this to evolve for 4. You attack with it once, double strike. When you attack, you're gonna use the Senzu Bean. Give it 5,000 power and untap 2 of your energy. So this will be at 25. You attack once, you put it to active mode because it can attack again. This lasts for the remainder of the turn, so it'll still be at 25. Swing at your leader, untap 2 more. You play this for free if you use the Senzu Bean and attack with your leader, which is awesome because since you play this for free, you can evolve into this now if you have enough energy. So this costs 6 to evolve into. 30,000 power. You use the Senzu Bean, it keeps that, so it'll be at 35, and they can't counter or blocker this. And you can attack again since this stood up from the dual attack. It became active. You evolve into this active, it can attack again. And then you just unload on them. If they have 2 life left, they can't counter, they can't block. You just go nuts. So yeah, that's my starter deck mod. I hope this helps somebody get into the game. This deck's not bad. The more you play with it, the more you'll realize, the synergy that all the cards have, and also it'll help you, build your own deck too, because you'll know like what's good, what's not, what to expect. So yeah, just give it a try if you're a new player and you want to mod the starter deck in something competitive. Alright, thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day.